basically a bit of ground rules. Since it's a three-way conversation, all questions are meant for both of you. There are some specific ones which I will point out. Otherwise, you can jump in and intervene and speak. And then I'll not try and play a classic interviewer's role. I'll keep nudging the two sisters, and it's really a pleasure and an honor that you two are coming together for the very first time to give an interview, which is a kind of a coup. And I'm very, very grateful.
We congratulate you for it, because it didn't strike us. But I don't think anyone has even approached us saying, come on now.
I was just telling her that in 2008 I wanted to do this, and I remember calling her and she was busy, and I ended up doing Gauri and her sister. This was for Outlook, and it was a print interview. It wasn't a grand big interview like this. So it was on my mind for a decade now. So I'm very, very happy that it's finally happening. And I'll keep the conversation bilingual, because both of you are also familiar with Kannada, so it will be nice to bring in a bit of Kannada as well as we go along. And I want to make one confession, which is I'm a great admirer of you, the institution builder and the actor, and I'm an unabashed fan of her. I was just telling her I let her in on a little secret as to how I had entered a name when somebody asked me in school who my favorite actress was. And I'd probably just seen one song of hers. So it's a great moment personally for me, and professionally, of course, there's a great coming together. So this is by and large, the ground rules. So I just shoot the first question. Both of you grew up in Mumbai, and that is at least the early part of your life. And do you think your lives would have been different had you continued to live in Mumbai? In the sense, what I'm essentially trying to get at is, does a city change a woman's life? Cities have impacts on people, and if it's more cosmopolitan, more open, more liberal, does that change a woman's life? And does it also change your attitude to life if you live in a bigger city like Mumbai? So you came into Bangalore when Bangalore was not today's Bangalore. So it was almost a kind of glorified village, a glorified town perhaps, very circumscribed. So how would you sort of look back at Mumbai?
Well, growing up, both of us are incidentally born in Delhi.
Okay.
And
brought up in Bombay.
Okay. Yeah. Now a bit of personal history would be welcome, because.
So we're born in Delhi. I'm 6 years older than her. So it's almost like a generation gap. When I went to Bombay, I was 10, but she was still 4 years old. So they're completely different takes on Bombay.
Okay.
And similarly, moving to Bangalore also, I moved first and she moved later. So I think her take on Bangalore would be different.
Right.
I was younger when I moved into Bangalore. So from the age of 10 to 23 till I got married, I was in Bombay. So you can say the formative years were really there.
There in Bombay.
And Bombay being the melting pot that it has always been. Historically it has been, it is even today.
Right.
For us children brought up in a government colony, a fairly cosmopolitan government colony.
Was it a cantonment by any chance?
No.
It wasn't
Delhi.
a cant. Okay.
Delhi, right. Netaji Nagar. Yes. So I had a Bengali best friend, and we had Sindhis living opposite us. So we didn't even know what community we belonged to. In fact, when we came to Bombay, we were made to realize that the Maharashtrians used to call us South Indians, and the South Indians used to call us Hindikara.
Despite you being a Maharashtrian?
Of sorts, of sorts again, because parents did not trust Marathi on us.
Okay.
We even today, in moments of crisis, we break into Hindi.
Okay. And not Marathi?
Very casually, yeah. Hindi happens, Gujarati happens, Marathi also happens. But we've inherited two kinds of Marathi. Because one is a 400-year-old Marathi from my father's side. and the other is the more refined Marathi from my mother's side. You know, so my father's family was a family that settled down in Karnataka, maybe during the Peshwa rule.
Okay.
Right.
And which part of Karnataka?
Chintamani.
Chintamani, that's Kolar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our Sonta Uru is Chintamani.
Okay, lovely.
But you know, there's all this, and then born in Delhi and brought up in Bombay. So yeah, those are the
I remember
influences.
being put in SIS school,
Okay.
and we were the only North Indians. We didn't know Tamil, we didn't know Marathi, so we were North Indians. And the whole school used to call us Hindikara, Hindikara.
And this was 60s, late 60s? 70s?
Yeah, late 60s.
Late 60s. Well, that's when
1966.
that was Bala Saheb was on the rise. And
Not yet. I wouldn't even remember
Yeah.
politics at the age of 10, no. But the politics of language surely hit us. Nice and strong. In 1 year, I had learned Tamil. I survive even today on the Tamil that I learnt at the age of 10.
Right.
And the following year, we were put in a Marathi school, a school called Babu Bhai Pannalal Mohanlal High School. Very good school in
Right,
Khar,
okay.
BPM High School.
Okay.
99% Maharashtrians.
Okay.
And the Maharashtrians used to call us South Indians.
So there was a
Because we didn't know good Marathi.
Good Marathi.
And
Yeah.
often we've come home, at least I have, you know, asking Amma, because there would be some form or the other to be filled, and it would ask for religion, and we would say, Amma, hum kya hai? So she would say, you just put Indian. You know?
And who among your parents spoke better Marathi? I mean, at least
Now-
to your sense.
I think, see, there were two different kinds of Marathi. So how do you,
Distinguish
you know,
that, yeah.
distinguish? I mean, how do you
Right,
say
right.
apples are better than oranges and oranges are better than apples?
Right.
I mean,
They're
you
two
know,
different
they're two
dialects,
different
yeah,
things
correct.
altogether.
No,
So
that
it's
was a
like
bad
that.
question anyway. Right. Yeah. Right.
Two dialects.
Two dialects,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
one was a kind of a Kannada mixed pidgin. Would I be fair?
No.
It is the older Marathi.
Okay.
It
More-
has no influence of Farsi or Urdu or any of these. For example, in the more refined Marathi, you will say something like Darwaza Band Kar.
Yeah.
All the words are,
Okay.
you know,
Right.
you have them in Hindi also. Darwaza Band
Band
Kar.
kar.
But in the older Marathi, that's from my father's side,
Right.
they say Kawad Ghal.
Okay, that's lovely. Okay.
You know, which is completely different. There's a different vocabulary altogether.
Oh, that's amazing. What kind of routines did you keep when you were growing up? You know, I mean, I've heard somewhere, you know, these are bits and pieces of research that you do before you come to meet celebrity people like you, that you were crisscrossing Mumbai, picking up a lot of skills. Is that right? Have I heard it right?
Yeah, I can speak for myself because she was doing something much later
Right.
and it was different what she was
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
For me, I was not good at studies. I had joined Commerce College because she was studious and she was good at studies. I was bad at studies.
Right.
So they think.
I happened to land up.
Great qualification to be an actor, actually.
Yeah, there were two of us in my class. One also became a very famous actor called Paresh Rawal.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
so
Paresh
Paresh
Rawal
and-
was your classmate. Right.
in college. Both of
Right.
us were not good at studies
But
and were
the two
mad.
of you think differently, I should say. Very differently.
Differently, absolutely.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
he's gone the political way,
yes,
and
yeah.
but that doesn't take away his talent. He's
Absolutely.
a good actor.
Yes. Yes.
He's a very fine actor, intuitive actor. I don't know why he's not doing better theatre.
Right.
He
yeah.
could.
Right.
He could
yeah.
very well change the way Indians look at theatre. I feel that when actors become popular in the movies, they wield a certain power over the common populace.
Right.
And especially when they go from theatre, they owe it to theatre to do good theatre.
Good theatre. Right.
For which I say hats off to Nasiruddin Shah.
He
because
keeps coming back
he's
to the stage.
Singular,
yes. Right.
singular actor in this country who continues to do good quality
Does
theatre.
Irfan Khan also do theatre? I mean,
Nothing. All of them have stopped
Also
acting.
Ratna. Ratna
Okay,
also does.
right.
Ratna,
That-
that's
yeah.
that team, Nasir and
Yeah.
Ratna, both of them, uncompromised good theatre they do.
oh, lovely.
And all the others, I will say, everybody else does tokenism, uses theatre as a crutch, uses it for the respectability that it brings them, and cheats the diaspora.
Right.
So they go out of India and they go and do shows all over America and all. People buy tickets because these are the actors they see in popular movies. Unfortunately, the world thinks this is the theatre India is capable of. And that's not true, because we have some very fine theatre performances, very fine theatre actors who are doing cutting edge work and capable of much more.
Much more, right. So you said you were not good at studies and therefore you went into theatre. So let's come back to
Yeah, I know,
the
I digressed,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So I was doing theatre in college. Both Paresh and me actually were given scholarships, and our fees were waived because we were acting in the college plays.
Okay.
That's how the colleges looked at us. We were getting all these best actor awards and winning festivals, and young colleges used to encourage extracurricular activities because that kind of immediately gave them a personality in the scenario of Xavier's and Sydenham and such colleges. I was also doing a lot of group dancing, which meant bhangra, doing mono acting. All this is part of the college acting basket that got the college points at youth festivals. Then there was television. Television had just
come in, right.
Just come, black and white television. So decently talented, good-looking girl, the chances of her getting a role in television were more, which was me.
It was right.
And also spoke Hindi well. Yes, it was more dominant by Hindi, dominated. It was a single channel television.
Though you started with a Gujarati serial.
I started
Haji
with
Aarti Kanch hai.
Right.
Gujarati, because we were living in Santa Cruz and all our neighbors were Gujaratis. We learnt Gujarati. All our friends were Gujaratis. So languages were coming at us like this, and we were making capital out of it. So I was acting in Marathi plays, Gujarati plays, Hindi plays. I did not know Kannada, but I had done a Kannada play.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right. So your formal introduction to Kannada happened through Shankara, is it?
Through bad words.
Oh,
ಬೈಗಳು
ಬೈಗಳು.
ಬೈಗಳು. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ಚಿಂತಾಮಣಿ ಕಡೆಯವರು. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಲೋನಿಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಯವರು ಬಾಗೇಪಲ್ಲಿನವರು, ಅಯ್ಯಂಗಾರ್, BRR ಅಯ್ಯಂಗಾರ್ ಅಂತ. ಹೌದು. ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರು ದೇ ವುಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ಇನ್ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಸಮ್ಮರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಗಾರ್ಡನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಮೈ ಫಾದರ್ ವುಡ್ ಶೌಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಟು ಹಿಸ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ ಸೈಡ್, ಏನೋ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆಯೋ, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಬೈಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಂಥ ಮಗನೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯೋದು. So we children had learned all the ee magane aa magane bad words.
Right. Lovely.
So actually that was the Kannada that we knew for a very long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my father had this great thing of anybody who did not have a job would come to our house. My father would fix him up somewhere. He was in the government, so he would get them a job. He was like an employment exchange.
Right.
So ಅಂಥದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ನಮ್ಮನೆಗೆ. ನಮ್ಮನೆ ಒಂಥರ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಟ್ ಹೋಮ್. ಹೌದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ.
Okay.
ಈ ಮಗು ಹುಟ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಆವಾಗ. ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದು ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊತೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು, ನನಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು. Because when my mother used to come to Bangalore summer holidays ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಈ ಮನೆಯವರು ಏನಾದರೂ ಸೀಕ್ರೆಟ್ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ when my mother was learning Kannada, the first language that this child learned was Kannada.
She picked it up naturally.
ಹೌದು.
So what is your
the irony of it?
So what is your take on Mumbai? I mean, what was your routine like? What do you remember of Mumbai?
So I remember a lot. I mean, because my memory begins from Delhi. Strangely, though I was 3, I have memories of that garden in front of the house, the vegetable garden at the back. You know, some memories in flashes, but it's there. And childhood friends, learning, speaking Gujarati, while playing, it was Gujarati all the way. And I also remember it being very cosmopolitan. So someone from UP, someone from Gujarat, someone from wherever. And these are very close friends even today. You know, those have been long-lasting influences.
Right.
And even through school, though not many of my school friends are in touch. I have No, I'm not in touch with any of them. But it is these influences were having grown up with people, you know, the neighbors.
Right.
Those people are still in touch. And apart from that, yeah, in college, I was doing theatre.
Okay. And despite being good in studies.
Now that's a myth, okay? That's a complete myth. Because I think I was struggling with maths. In the 3rd standard, I failed maths. And then I was promoted with grace marks. And that story repeated in the 6th standard. And then I was given tuitions.
Right.
And then, yeah, I really worked it in. And I had a wonderful tuition teacher who used to say, maths is 99% common sense and 1% method. And she just took the fear out of me. And that year I got 100 on 100, so very thrilled.
So then the whole thing changed.
It changed.
Yeah, right.
But I think I didn't even know that I was inclined towards the arts. I wish I did, because I wouldn't have suffered 5 years of commerce.
Okay.
Because
So you
now
went
when
into
I
commerce
look,
and not science.
yeah,
Okay, right.
and when I look back, my life has had nothing to do with commerce in that sense. You know, I've not been able to use it really. Yeah, but one did it, and then through the college years, one was doing theatre in English, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, and I began with amateur theatre in Marathi, and it was Shankar's first directorial venture in Marathi, which was a play called Fatang, and that was my first Marathi play.
Okay.
And then, yeah, of course.
And you were the lead actress
we
in
worked
that?
in IPTA, both of us
Okay,
worked in
IPTA,
IPTA.
right, yeah.
And we happened to play mother and daughter
Okay.
in a
That's
play
interesting.
called Aakhri Sawal. That was after,
much later.
much later, of course.
I joined
After-
IPTA when I was 16.
16, yes.
Yeah,
right,
so
okay.
she was still in the cradle. She was still 10. That's why I said these experiences are like, they are spread apart because of the sheer age difference between us.
So when I became 17 or so, that was when 16, 17 was when I came into IPTA. And I was doing Aakhri Sawal. That time, Shabana's mother, Shaukat Appa, she was playing the mother's role. And it was only after she, you know, fell ill, she couldn't handle the BP with the role, that Aru stepped in and Aru was doing the role.
Between the two of you, how many languages are there? And since you see
They're
linguistic
pretty much the same. Pretty much the same languages.
So-
but
She
Can-
speaks
can we
Tamil much
count?
better than me.
Marathi, can we count? Marathi?
Hindi, English,
Okay.
Marathi,
Okay.
Gujarati, Kannada.
Canada.
These are the
Basic,
languages
yeah.
that we
And-
speak
and
and speak them well.
Yeah,
A bit of
and we can
acquaintance
read
with
and
Tamil,
write.
and you said
I have Tamil and Konkani in my
Right.
vocabulary.
And Konkani comes from
Shankar
Shankarnath's side.
side,
right,
yeah.
right.
So yeah.
And you have
When
any other
French.
I've done my diploma in French. And when required, I survive with
right.
Konkani, with Tamil, with Telugu.
So basically, there are a dozen languages playing between the two.
Quite a
of you.
few.
Quite a few.
I
Yeah.
must tell you
And
something
that's
very
that's a
interesting.
very yeah, please.
I was, like I said, I was not good at studies because I got, in the 2nd standard, I got a double promotion and I was pushed to 4th standard. Suddenly, all my friends were missing. And I very clearly remember I started telling lies when I landed in 4th standard. So in school, if they said, have you got your homework? I would say, I've left it at home. At home, if my mother asked me, where's your homework? No homework, only drawing and spelling. Then the teachers caught me one day because you can't play fool like this for too long. They put a dunce cap on my head and made me stand out. My brothers disowned me. And then from 5th standard to 7th standard, I got another double promotion.
Okay.
Because I moved from the higher secondary instruction of medium to the SSC.
Right.
Again, you're the youngest. At 10, I was in 7th standard. So
standard.
it's super young for the class. And math is something that you need continuity with. HCF, LCM had fallen through the floor. And you know what was going on in class.
New math.
Yeah. So maths has been like a huge dragon in my life. And just a few years ago, I met this lady who is a PhD in math. So I looked at her with, wow,
With
such
awe and,
reverence,
yeah, right,
PhD
reverence
in
and-
maths.
No, and she was very good at physiology. Remember?
Yeah, so this lady, she just looked at me and said, you know, I've heard you speak many languages. Your brain is a mathematical brain.
So basically, you know, we were talking languages and you were talking mathematics and how we were flabbergasted by all that.
There's also this, Bombay gives you a huge cosmopolitan exposure. So Marathi Theatre came into our lives, which we did not have when we were in Delhi. Our parents were, the Marathi roots may have just woken
Right,
up.
yeah.
Suddenly we were being taken to see so many Marathi plays.
I'm so thankful for
Yeah,
that.
You
good
must have
Marathi
had
plays.
exceedingly liberal parents.
And there is the
Yes.
Navratri that happens in Bombay, in every street. So Pinti and me actually are half Gujarati. We know how to cook Gujarati
Yeah.
food. We can speak and read and write Gujarati. I can't write, but speak and read Gujarati. We can sing their folk songs.
But I think you're wasting your influence. Gujarati is a prime minister now.
Yes.
And you're wasting your influence, I should
We
say.
are. We've never played our political cards, right?
No, you were telling me something about your routine in Mumbai.
Yeah. So it was tough because one was waking up really early in the morning, but I was used to it because school trained me for that. School used to be from 7 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, which was great because you had the rest of the day to do what you pleased and you got time to play in the evening. And when I was in college, I used to have to catch a bus at 6:30 in the morning, go from North Bombay to South Bombay, do my French classes, then come
And
back
French
to North
those days
Bombay.
was still Alliance Française.
Alliance Française at Dhanraj Mahal in Colaba, which meant catching this bus to Bandra Station, catch the train to Churchgate, if you're lucky you get the bus to Colaba, otherwise you just walk and then do the whole thing back in reverse, come back to Parla for college, attend rehearsals in college because you're doing 4 or 5 plays at any given point of time and finish with that and then go back to South Bombay because there'd be some other rehearsal
thing,
happening there. And then
And catching the local.
catching the local train and studying on the train and getting back in the night
And
bushed
what
out.
what was driving you to do all this? You know, who was driving you?
Nobody really, but I
Was
think
it
it was just
sui
some
generis?
innate madness.
Swayambhu antar, sui generis, you were on your own doing it.
I can
What was
speak as I
influencing
said
you?
again. For me, there was a need. I was not good in class. I was hating studies. I wanted to be a painter. Because I couldn't cope with the studies, I wanted to be a painter. And every time my mother asked me if you have homework, I said, yeah, I've got painting, I've got drawing, and I've got spelling.
So this was a good alibi.
Yeah, so when I got my SSC certificate, my mother marks card or whatever that is, the results came. I happened to have got a first class. In those days, 60% was very high percentage. First class was great.
Yeah, everybody didn't get it.
Was great getting a first class. Okay.
And she had distinction in physiology, I remember that.
I had taken physiology hygiene because I wanted to take fine arts.
Okay.
I had taken history because I wanted
I
to
don't think
take
that's a discipline anymore with kids these days. Physiology.
physiology hygiene. Yeah, there was a
Okay.
subject.
Yeah, there's
There was
something-
special
okay,
history,
right.
and I had taken languages.
Something like home science. What is called home science these days?
No. Physiology.
Okay, the
Yeah,
physical training.
yeah.
Anatomy.
Okay.
Because if I wanted to go to JJ School of Arts.
Okay.
And so I had given my elementary and intermediate exams, which are government drawing exams. By the time I was 12, I had both those certificates. So it was planned. I knew I don't want to have maths and physics in my academic life. The earliest point I could
Departure
drop
that
it
you could take. Yes.
was in the
right.
10th standard, and 11th was SSC in those days.
Right.
So when I got my certificate and I was leaving for JJ School of Arts, my good middle class mother said to me, why do you want to do painting? Do something that will stand by you. And I thought arts was for idiots and science, I had not taken those subjects. I went and stood in the line in Narsimonji College and they gave me admission in commerce
Right.
without maths as a subject. So it's completely wrong person in the wrong place. So when I saw a little poster that said those interested in acting come to Hindi drama, come to room number so and so, I landed up there. And my Hindi was good, so I got picked up. And it was a beautiful space to forget everything, to sublimate whatever. It is very humiliating for a child when it cannot
It
cope.
was basically an escape.
I think for me it was definitely an escape from many, many things. It was not being able to cope with the academic life that I wanted to run away from. I loved being in somebody else's skin. And I loved being among these people who all were getting into other people's skins. You know? That was, I think, a very huge leap. And when I landed up in IPTA, say for example, till then all our theatre experiences were annual day function, college, intercollegiate plays. But when you went to IPTA, you suddenly realized that these were grown-up people like your parents. They were as old as your parents, or if not older. And they had spent a lifetime in the conviction of wanting to be theatre people. There was
that was a change.
Change to
So
that.
do we now, because we've spoken a lot about Mumbai, do we cut and come to the present day? So we've spoken elaborately about your routine in Mumbai as growing up girls, crisscrossing the city of Mumbai.
Oh, there's so much that was happening in our lives. There was another social life that was constantly trying to pull you away. You had friends who were party creatures, who were into dressing up. My mother used to always say, I'm worried because both you girls are good looking.
Right.
She used to say, I would not be so worried if you were not good looking girls. But both of you are good looking.
Right.
And you had so many boys who were after you in those days. There were distractions. But
Right.
I think for us, luckily,
You fell into this groove.
The theatre was this huge.
It was a grounding factor in our lives,
Right.
you know, and
it gave meaning to everything, even relationships.
And without you realizing it, it's
without realizing.
yeah, I mean,
That's the most
for me, though,
fascinating part of it, right?
Purpose. It gave a purpose.
Purpose.
तुम करते क्या हो, हम theatre करते हैं. You know, we knew what
And
we had.
especially IPTA, and there's a
Yeah.
purpose to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
and even though for me it was not an escape per se, at least not in my school years, because in school also one was exposed to theatre, but in college, yes. It was, because in college I was just struggling with it and I had to finish my commerce and get my degree because our lady here had given it up and chucked it. So all the pressure came on
On you
me.
too,
Say, I
right.
can't be following in her footsteps.
Right.
So I had to do my degree and I
ಹಿರಿಯ
had to
ಕಂಚಾಳಿ
finish it.
ಮನೆಮದ್ದಿಗೆಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು.
ಹೌದು, ಹಾಗೆ ಆಯ್ತು.
Right.
So
In Marathi, my mother used to say, तिच्या पावलावर पाऊल टाकून चालू नकोस तू. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಳ ಕಾಲ್ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ಟು ನಡಿಬೇಡ ನೀನು.
Right. Okay. Right. That's nice.
But anyway, ಹಾಗೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಮತ್ತೆ.
Oh, but that's all for the good.
Yeah.
So coming back to the present, I mean, your routine doesn't look very different today from what it was, say, 30, 40, 50 years ago. 40 years ago at least? 40 years ago, right? So,
Hers is still the same. She has a hectic schedule.
but how does your routine go? I mean, you still run one of the finest theatres in Bangalore, Karnataka,
India.
Of course, Asia, I would
Yes.
say.
Yeah, it's on the world map.
It's on the world map,
Yeah.
yes. So how does your routine pan out?
No, I am in a very beautiful
I would like
space.
to remind you, you also become a grandmother. So you have to tell us, you have to bring that in as well.
Yes, grandmothers.
Grandmothers, yes, of course. Right.
Yeah, no, but right now I'm at a very magical point in life. With the Ranga Shankara, the theatre that we all built, is now 14 years old. So it's a kind of a teenage child.
Right.
There are lots of learnings from, you can imagine just being an ordinary actor to becoming an administrator. That was a huge leap. So sometimes they say actors should not build theatres because the world loses an actor and also gets a bad administrator. So I have learnt a lot as I went along, and I knew from the beginning that I will need to step aside and identify another person and let it become professional after that. So I guess I'm in the process of weaning myself
out.
from the project, not so much the project from me.
No, it's
Because
like
I
this-
will always be the mother and I will always be available for Ranga Shankara.
It's
But-
like the Kipling line. You can be taken out of the jungle, but the jungle will not leave you.
Yes, absolutely. That's true of theatre, and more so Ranga Shankara. I mean, I have a biological child and I have Ranga Shankara. But I feel my biological child has grown up, can look after herself. Ranga Shankara will always need good people to run it. And as long as I am alive, a part of my heart will be there. We will be worried about that space. Today is a Monday and there's no performance at Ranga Shankara, so I'm very relaxed.
Otherwise, it's
Otherwise,
yes,
a
yeah,
part of me
you
knows
is-
that something is going on over there. At 7:30, I look at my watch and say, the show has begun.
Right. Right. And you're not there every single day like you used to be. Right?
No,
Right.
no, I don't go.
Right.
I think the success of the project and of my being will be the day when I really don't worry about the space and don't go there at all.
Not many people think that way. You know, they cling on and on and on.
No,
That's the founder's trap.
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Right,
it is
yeah.
there. The founder's trap is there. I mean, everything, whenever I go to buy anything, I say, this will look good in Ranga Shankara. That's the first reaction. But it's okay. It's okay. Very few theatres are built like this in the world, and I happen to be the lucky person who got to do it. So it's okay if all my life goes in just thinking that, that peacock feather can go to the theatre. And I've kept it here safe because it is safer here.
Right.
And it goes on
It
special
goes-
occasions.
So everything in our house, everything in my house is available for Ranga Shankara.
So it's been one seamless kind of a journey for both of you. So you were crisscrossing Mumbai and now you're crisscrossing Bangalore.
Yeah.
So I don't think much has changed. Has it for you? I mean,
No, not really. Of course, honestly, I feel like an adolescent. Never felt so grand ever in life
you say that,
with,
yeah.
with becoming a grandmother.
Right.
But you know, it's like with friends now complaining of knee pain and back pain and this, that and the other. And it's not yet shown up, touch wood, but I know it looms large in my mind that soon. So I'm sort of running against time and saying, okay, it's now or never. And that really drives me. But there are dreams and there are things that one has to do, you know, one wants to do, whether it's in education or whether it's in theatre. Yeah, so that's what keeps me crisscrossing the city at least.
My role model is really Satyu.
MS Satyu, right. Right.
He's the quintessential theatre person. My first full-length play was directed by Satyu.
Okay.
Satyu held hands with me while Ranga Shankara was being built. And even today, Satyu is like past 80.
Yeah.
Yes.
You pick up the phone and call him and say, sir, I have a play and can you help me with the set? He will call you tomorrow. He will, and after you have explained it to him, he'll make a model and he'll give it to you. You don't
Amazing,
find such
amazing.
people
Yeah, yeah.
anymore, you know. The first thing a professional asks you nowadays is, how much are you going to pay me?
Pay me, right.
This man will never talk about money.
You
Never.
won't find people like that. You also won't find multilinguals like you. I think there's a monolingual thing that has come in. So people speak either one language or hate another language.
No language.
Or no
People
language.
speak no language. They speak television bad language. They mumble. People
You can't make out
mumble.
what people are saying very
See,
often.
people are with mixed marriages, husband and wife, both of them drop their languages.
Right,
They're speaking English at home.
right.
Yeah, children don't call their parents amma appa anymore. They call them mummy daddy.
Right. Right.
And English, bad English being
yes,
spoken. So I don't know what the writing on the wall is. Probably you people know better where the future of the languages is. English is such a predator,
Right.
and
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm such
It's
an advocate.
It's clipped the wings of all regional languages.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And everything is locked in languages.
So you make it look, both of you make it look very easy. But, you know, I mean, I should intervene and say, there was a period in your life when things were not so easy. You know, I mean, Shankara suddenly passed away. And ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಬದುಕನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಜತನದಿಂದ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ ನೀವು ಮತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಷನನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ, ಜತನದಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನು ಪೋಣಿಸಿ ಮತ್ತೇನೋ ಹೊರಬರೋ ಹಂಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಹಯಾಟಿಸ್, ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಡೆಕೇಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ವೆರ್ ವಿ ಡಿಂಟ್ ನೋ ವೇರ್ ಅರುಂಧತಿ ನಾಗ್ ವಾಸ್. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗಾಯಿತು? ಮೀನ್ ಏನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು? ಒಂದು ಬದುಕಿಗೆ ಈ ಥರದ ಒಂದು ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಒಂದು ಮಿಷನನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವ, ಜತನದಿಂದ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು? ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ unthinkable what happened and sudden.
Yeah, unthinkable was there. See, she was 11 years old when I met Shankar.
Right.
I was 17, so she was 11.
Right.
She was a little girl,
Right.
and he has been the largest influence in her life. For me, he was my friend, my companion, my lover, my husband.
Right.
He was not my guru and all that. For her, he was a guru.
Right.
He was not my guru. He was my companion. So his departure has decimated the two of us in different ways.
Different ways,
Say in similar and different ways.
Correct.
It is different, but it is the same thing. It's the same thing that you lose your spinal column. You lose it. So you can buckle. You buckle in more than one way. And I don't think we had a choice. If you don't get your act together, the world is not going to cry with you forever. My mother used to always say in Marathi, Nitya mare tela kon rade.
ದಿನ ಸಾಯೋರ್ಗೆ ಅಳೋರು ಯಾರು?
ಹೌದು.
Correct.
So you don't cry every day. You have to get your act together. And luckily for me, I think my mother was alive for some time. My mother was a nice, soft and strong person. And for everyone, the mother is a irreplaceable
Correct.
person.
Correct.
And we had Kavya. I had Kavya. She was only 5 years old. It was important for her to have a sane mother and not a mad mother. Mad I am, yes, but not mad in that, incapable sense. And I must say that the whole world around me held me up, really held me up, because you don't survive alone in these kind of situations. I was invalid for almost a year. I was nursed back by her, by my family, really.
Friends, I mean everybody.
Yeah, friends would
just
come
rallied around us.
I was in a wheelchair for almost 9-10 months. And friends would come home, sit down over here, read poetry to me. They would read plays. So they kept me alive, they kept me going. When everything else around me had collapsed, there was no money. Shankar didn't have money. He was just a 35-and-a-half-year-old man. You don't think you're going to
with
die.
Great plans, and so it invested a lot.
Absolutely. So it's like the floor just parted, but luckily I have family, friends. She was there till I started walking. The child had her. My mother was there. So my family really was my family and my theatre family.
So it was
So it was really these two families. And the first thing we did for normalcy was to do a play.
Oh, that's so nice to hear.
The last conversation I had with Shankar before we left home on that day was,